Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Gluttons for Geekdom. I am Nick James, and today we're going to be talking about Doctor Strange. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Gluttons for Geekdom. My name is Nick James. Today we're going to be talking about Doctor Strange. Hey everybody, yeah, no, I'm not going to do it a third time. Gluttons for Geekdom, Doctor Strange, starting right about now. No, this is not the awesome. This is a blanket. It's not his awesome cape. Just in case anybody was wondering, I didn't go into the Sanctum Sanctorum and steal this from Mr. Doctor Strange, just before I start getting the angry. How could you steal that from the mysticism? It's not, it's just a blanket, so calm down. But this is a real replica of the Eye of Agamotto. Look how sweet that is. And it's a little bit smaller than it is traditionally, but it just means I can wear it all the time, and it's compact and awesomeness for it. Since we have established that this is not a real cape, let's not do that. But let's bring capes back. It is a blanket, so it doesn't fit right. But walking around and whooshing, if you haven't whooshed with a blanket on your back since you were a little kid, I suggest you go and do it because it was actually quite enjoyable. Doctor Strange, we want to talk about first. It is another Ditko and Lee creation. If you actually go further into it, Lee kind of takes out the "and" in a sense, where Ditko is kind of like, "This is what I think we're doing, and this is where it's going to go." He's named Doctor Strange, and something I didn't know either, because his first appearance was in Strange Tales number 110, which came out in July of 1963. So that's quite a while ago. The 60s is leading into the hippy dippy age of the really 70s. Some of the people like 60s, the Beatles coming over, rock and roll, stuff like that. Everybody's coming to a freaking boiling point. So it's a good creation for the time. Like I was saying, Lee had said that it was really Ditko. Steve Ditko, if you don't know the other name that you'd know him for, especially, is Mr. Spider-Man. So that's why Doctor Strange is also just amazingly good looking. Like I said, it's not the actual flight robe, but that cowl, one of the most legend. That cowl, sometimes if drawn correctly, comes out to here. It is bad, bad to the bone. Um, Something I read that I didn't know as I was doing a little bit. He wasn't actually like they didn't sell it like I said as oh look at this Doctor Strange book. It was Stranger Tales number 110. It was a split with the Human Torch, and not the Human Torch like we know him from Fantastic Four. If you Brandon, what's his name? Oh, the Human Torch who's played in the Fantastic Four. It doesn't matter. It's not Chris Evans, the new one who I was going to try to bring up. Josh Trank's Fantastic Four, but nobody really cares about him, but his name really is escaping me. Excuse me. It's just the Fantastic Torch with the Submariner, or some of Marvel's first um, goes at superheroes. Submariner, as far as we know, hasn't seen anything. I wonder if Marvel is going to bring him into anything because that'd be cool. But the Human Torch we actually get to see in another one. If you go look at Captain America: The First Avenger, there is a. Is it? Yeah, no, at the World's Fair that he's at. The Human Torch suit is in there. Anyway, let's get to the new one. Benedict Cumberbatch. If you know Kevin Smith, you'll think that's funny. If not, you'll think I mispronounced it. I know it's Cumberbatch. Batch. He did a great job. This is his third turn as something geeky, as far as I know. I'm not a Doctor Who fan. I'm going to get into it soon. But he played the Doctor. He was gone in Star Trek, and now, he's got this under his belt. And I've seen other people at the other place, where they make comics sometimes with this guy, DC, saying, "Oh yeah, screw, put him as Doctor Fate." I'm like, all right, one Doctor, no, we can only do one. Like, let's not give this guy everything. Um, did a great job at it. Scott Derrickson directed, and before this, the only movie I'd seen of his was it was a scary flick, and it really just scary. It's the one with the smiley face man, and he's in the picture, and the picture looks at you, and then he looks back. It'll come to me later on. I didn't write that down. Chitwell Ejiofor Mordo in the movie did amazing because if you know Doctor Strange, like I don't know him super well. I know him from more crossovers. In terms of actual laid down fact, I've only read a few. So I kind of sat there going like, I thought he was the bad guy. And no, no, no. He eventually, we'll see. And he takes it out on Benjamin Bratt too. Feels so bad. Who doesn't love Benjamin Bratt? But at the end, he gets some. Benedict Wong plays Wong. So one, how many Benedict do you know? Let alone two of them on a Doctor Strange set. It just must have been Wong, like the character or me. Well, what's the matter on both? You did another great job. He's got a lot of. I see the hard part about this is it hasn't come out yet, so I've seen it once. in the theater. I mean, come out on DVD. So the most that I really have to go by today, and if you haven't seen it or do not own it, it's backwards because of the camera angle. It's animated. It's one of Marvel's first animated. They have the Invincible Iron Man out too. They have Hulk versus. They have a lot of good animated stuff over there at Marvel. That is one of them. So that's where I knew a lot more coming into this movie than facts about it. The one thing that everybody was talking about was Tilda Swinton, though, coming over to play the Ancient One. And that's, mostly because the word whitewashing got thrown around a lot. And that just basically means that they took a character that's normally played by a certain ethnicity and they make them white because Hollywood loves white people, and that's whitewashing. Gods of Egypt is another one that comes to mind because there's only white people in that movie. In terms of that, I think that's unfair for the Ancient One, because at the same time, if they gave it to an older character that, had the white Fu Manchu. I mean, imagine if they took the guy from Kill Bill 2 and he's flipping then they'd be like, well, that's racist. So I think if they had a hard line to it, Tilda Swinton is fantastic. She is amazing. This character requires grace and poise with a certain strong, there was no way that I challenged her. She was the Ancient One. She was impressive, had a presence about her. And going back to Doctor Strange, if anything, they should just do it like that. The Ancient One freaking cycles too. So this way, whitewashing, fine, make it an old Chinese guy next time. What's it really matter? But I hope that the character does cycle around like that. I hope we do get to see more of that. But then that would mean he's not the Sorcerer Supreme in that. Mads Mikkelsen plays the bad guy, Caecilius. And if you saw his eye makeup, that's makeup. That's not CG. If you go in there, all those cracks, I'm sorry, I gotta look at myself to do it, but all these cracks here and he's got wicked stuff in there, it is out of control crazy, but it's all makeup. It's really wonderfully done. Rachel McAdams is in there as Christine Palmer. She plays the love interest. Night doctors are somebody who comes to mind, hopefully her and Rosario Dawson are walking down the street and they're like, hey. That'd be awesome. I'd really, really like to see that. So the whole movie just goes through, it's an origin story of Doctor Strange being the pompous neurosurgeon that he is. And it opens up and he's working on the brain and somebody's off screen or on screen. They're asking him questions. So as he's doing very hard, very complicated brain work, he's also teasing his brains with little facts. Gets into a car accident and mushes his hands. That's when Benjamin Bratt eventually comes in and he's like, I couldn't walk, but now I can because of this person. And he's like, all right, I got to go find that person. And that's when Chitwell comes in, and he figures out, shows him to the Ancient One and the whole thing. I'm not going to go for it. I'm going to go for the special effects are absolutely incredible. It's like Inception on crack. If you don't know what Inception is, Syncope piece. If you don't know what Syncope is, that's Nolan. If you don't know Nolan and you're watching Gluttons for Geekdom, weird. So folds in on itself in the time dimension, all I want now, I have the eye, I want a freaking sling ring like nobody's business, because that was great. I bet there's people online who could have made it look like I just did something cool. So if you're one of those people who's like, oh, I'm going to make this kid look cool by inserting the awesome lines, that'd be cool. But anyway, it looks great. The end product is Dormammu is the big bad guy. And somehow, they got away with a giant floating head in space. DC got damn near freaking whipped for doing that to Parallax. Fantastic Four, the original, got damn near whipped for doing that to Galactus. But Dormammu, they were like, giant head in space. And they're like, okay, let's do it. And it worked. It did work, though. And if you didn't get the reference at the first, you didn't watch the movie. And thus, I have spoiled everything if you're still continuing. But he plays with this, the Eye of Agamotto, as we have figured out, now has the time gem in it. If you're following along with the entire movies, we got all the gems throughout the Tesseract. The one in Vision's head, the Dark World, that Ether. How many more are there? But we need one more, and I read something that they're suggesting that maybe Thor's Watchguard guy, Aegis Alba, has had it this whole time, and I didn't read it full enough. I was like, that's crap. I think it's going to definitely be given to us in the Black Panther movie for whatever reason. Can't wait to see some Black Panther movie. It's going to be great. So at the very end of the flick, he puts himself, Doctor Strange, in a time loop with this that allows him to say, hey, you can't do anything. You're not technically my prisoner by binds, but you can't leave this moment until I can leave this moment, and I'm not leaving this moment until you leave Earth alone. And that's exactly how it goes down, and it goes down well, and at the end, he's in a Sanctum Sanctorum in Brooklyn, and, this giant thing out, and you see it, and it's awesome. I'm going to grab my awesome 100% authentic Doctor Strange cape that I have here. So, you know, it's all flying and stuff, and he just grabs it and he's heading up the stairs, and it's giant in front of him. And it's like, thank you. Thank you for giving me everything I wanted in a Doctor Strange movie at a time where I wasn't really sure I needed or wanted a Doctor Strange movie. So let's see where he keeps going in terms of where he's going to fit into the Avengers. Big spoilers, you know, I don't mind spoiling the movie, but if you don't see the after credit part 3, 2, 1, Thor's there looking for Odin, and he asks Doctor Strange. And at this, you got the complete Doctor Strange look because he finally put on the giant red galoshes, and you're like, this is everything I wanted. And oh, okay, so if I help find your father, you're going to get out of here sooner. And yep, and that's the promise that we get led to, why he would know. More going on. Can't wait for it. Yeah, we're just about done here. Thank you very much for watching. If you have been a fan for a while, thank you for continuing. We just keep getting bigger. I want to keep posting better stuff, and I can't do that without inspiration. So, or not inspiration, but guidance. Let me know what you guys want. Gluttons for Geekdom on Facebook, Gluttons for Geekdom on Instagram, and Gluttonous Geeks on Twitter. Yeah, that last one was Twitter. Thank you all very much. Nick James, Gluttons for Geekdom. Have a good one.